Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a story that sounds almost unbelievable. Imagine Paris without its most famous landmark. No, I'm not talking about the Louvre or Notre Dame. I'm talking about the Eiffel Tower. Can you picture the Parisian skyline without that iconic iron lattice piercing the clouds? It's almost impossible, right? Well, what if I told you that this beloved symbol of France, a monument that draws millions of visitors every single year, was almost torn down just a couple of decades after it was built? It's true. The Eiffel Tower was never meant to be a permanent part of Paris. It was scheduled for demolition. So, how did a structure that was once considered a monstrous eyesore become one of the most celebrated and recognized landmarks on the entire planet? Stick around, because the story behind its survival is a masterclass in clever thinking, strategic planning, and a little bit of luck. It's a tale of innovation saving art, and it completely changed the destiny of Paris forever. Let's rewind the clock to the late 19th century. The year is 1889 and Paris is buzzing with excitement. The city is hosting the Exposition Universelle, or the World's Fair, to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the French Revolution. For an event of this magnitude, Paris needed a centerpiece, something spectacular that would showcase France's industrial prowess and modern engineering to the world. A competition was held, and over 100 design proposals were submitted. The winning design, as we all know, came from the engineering firm of Gustave Eiffel. His proposal was for a colossal, 300-meter-tall tower made of wrought iron. At the time, it was an audacious, almost fantastical idea. Nothing like it had ever been built before. It would be the tallest man-made structure in the world, a title it would hold for over 40 years. Construction began in 1887, and in just over 2 years the tower was complete, a marvel of precision engineering. But here's the crucial detail that gets lost in history. The tower was built with a temporary permit. The contract stipulated that it was only meant to stand for 20 years. After the 1909 lease expired, the plan was to completely dismantle it. The city of Paris would own the tower, and they would be responsible for tearing it down. And believe it or not, many Parisians couldn't wait for that day to come. From the moment the first iron girder was put in place, the project was met with fierce opposition. A group of prominent artists and intellectuals, including famous figures like the writer Guy de Maupassant and composer Charles Gounod, formed a committee and published a scathing letter titled "Protest Against the Tower of Monsieur Eiffel." They called it a useless and monstrous structure, a gigantic black smokestack that would dominate the city and cast an odious shadow over its cherished historical monuments. They described it as a dizzily ridiculous tower that would dishonor the elegance and beauty of Paris. Guy de Maupassant famously hated it so much that he often ate lunch at the restaurant inside the tower, claiming it was the only place in Paris where he didn't have to look at it. To them, this industrial behemoth was the very antithesis of French art and culture. So, you have this incredibly controversial structure, deeply unpopular with the artistic elite, and it has a built-in expiration date. By all accounts, the Eiffel Tower should have been a temporary memory, a strange footnote in the history of the 1889 World's Fair. But Gustave Eiffel was not just a brilliant engineer, he was also a shrewd visionary. He understood that for his tower to survive, it needed to prove itself indispensable. It couldn't just be a tourist attraction or an architectural curiosity. It needed a practical, undeniable purpose that would make tearing it down seem foolish. From the very beginning, Eiffel began to think about how he could embed science and technology into the very fabric of his creation. He knew that utility was the key to its longevity. He installed a meteorology laboratory on the 3rd floor, taking atmospheric readings. He conducted experiments on aerodynamics, dropping objects from the top to study air resistance. He was essentially turning his tower into a massive open-air scientific instrument, meticulously documenting its value to the scientific community. But his true masterstroke, the move that would ultimately save the tower from the wrecking ball, came with the dawn of a new technology: wireless telegraphy. Radio was in its infancy, but Eiffel immediately saw the potential. A tall metallic structure was the perfect antenna. He encouraged and allowed the French military to conduct experiments in radio telegraphy from the top of the tower. In 1903, just 6 years before the tower's lease was set to expire, Captain Gustave Auguste Ferrier, a pioneer in military radio communication, used the tower as a base for his experiments. The results were astounding. The height of the tower allowed for long-distance radio transmissions that were previously impossible. By 1908, the tower was communicating wirelessly with ships in the Atlantic and even with a station in North America. Its strategic importance became undeniable. When the 20-year permit expired in 1909, the city officials who had once planned to tear it down had a change of heart. The tower was no longer just an eyesore. It was a vital asset for national defense and global communication. The decision was made to extend the permit, and the Eiffel Tower was saved. Its value was cemented just a few years later during World War I. The radio transmitter atop the tower played a critical role for the French military. It was used to jam German radio communications, disrupting their advance on Paris during the pivotal First Battle of the Marne in 1914. It also intercepted enemy messages, including the infamous Mata Hari communique, which led to the capture of the notorious spy. The tower that was once despised by artists had become a silent guardian of the city, a crucial tool that helped defend France. After the war, its role in communication continued to grow. It became a hub for the first public radio broadcast in the 1920s and later, for television broadcasts. The tower had successfully transformed itself from a temporary fairground attraction into an essential piece of national infrastructure. The arguments of the artists who called it useless had been completely and utterly dismantled, not by words but by function. And that's the incredible story of how the Eiffel Tower cheated death. What was once a symbol of controversy, a structure that many Parisians loved to hate, evolved into the enduring symbol of Paris and of France itself. It's a powerful lesson in how perception can change over time. The monstrous ironwork that was once seen as a blight on the cityscape is now celebrated for its delicate, lace-like beauty. The useless tower became an invaluable tool for science, communication, and defense. It's a testament to Gustave Eiffel's foresight, his refusal to let his creation be temporary. He knew that to build something that lasts, it needs to serve a purpose beyond just being looked at. So the next time you see a picture of the Eiffel Tower, or if you're lucky enough to stand beneath it, remember that you're not just looking at a beautiful monument, you're looking at a survivor, a brilliant piece of engineering that was saved from demolition by the very technology it helped to pioneer. Thanks so much for watching. What do you think? Can you imagine Paris without the Eiffel Tower today? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story and want to learn more fascinating facts from history, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next video. We'll see you in the next one.